Scientists are going into the jungle to see what it can tell us about ourselves. Until very recently, we thought human beings were unique. Is the fact that we can so easily tame the jungle proof that we are high above all other animals? Experts are discovering we are more connected than we thought. They've found intelligent monkeys. They've seen culture in primates. They've even witnessed murder. And as for the idea that we can tame the jungle, well, it can tame us too. Scientists believe that asking questions of the jungle and reaching out to its primates might just help us find out who we really are. First challenge, meet your beast. 6 years ago, Italian primatologist Chloe Cipolletta began a mission in the dripping Congo forest of Central Africa. She was determined to make contact with the western lowland gorilla. It was a World Wildlife Fund project to encourage ecotourism and conservation. This is the mountain gorilla of Rwanda. It is well known to scientists. But the lowland gorilla of the Congo is a different species and a much tougher challenge. Although you might catch a rare glimpse of them when they come out into clearings like this, they soon disappear back into the forest. No one knows where they go or what they do. Chloe wanted to find out by earning their trust.
I think the moment of maximum trust is when they come close or stay close to you and just completely fall asleep. You can feel pretty sure that they don't fear you at all and they are perfectly comfortable with your presence there.
Other scientists had tried before and failed. But Chloe had an idea. Not so long ago, white hunters employed local tribespeople to lead them through the jungle to this ferocious beast. Would the descendants of these tribes be prepared to help her? These are the Bayaka people. They have an intimate understanding of the forest and an extraordinary ability to find their way around it. When the Bayaka go hunting, they mean business. Chloe asked to meet two of the Bayaka's finest trackers. This is Mbanda and Ngombo. Although the Bayaka sometimes hunt gorillas, they are generally afraid to get near them. So Chloe's idea of tracking them and then trying to get close must have seemed like madness. But eventually, the Bayaka agreed to help her.
They're very skilled Bayaka trackers. And they're fundamental in finding regularly the gorillas. Yeah, it would be totally impossible to find gorillas without the bayaka.
The plan was to attempt to follow one group of gorillas every day from the tracks and traces they left behind. Nobody but the bayaka could achieve this. At first, all they'd get is the occasional glimpse. If Chloe's mission succeeds, it could open a door for dramatic new discoveries. It happened before, in Tanzania, East Africa. It's where our closest relative lives, the chimpanzee. When chimps let people into their lives, experts made one of the most important breakthroughs in the history of science. They saw chimps rip off branches and shape them. They made fishing rods to catch juicy termites. Other chimps were using rocks to open nuts. The problem was, animals weren't meant to be able to make and use tools. Only we did that. Not anymore. Chimps evolved this skill to get at the forest's richest food. This was a huge blow to ideas of human uniqueness, but it was just the beginning. The orangutan of Borneo was the expert's next target, but there seemed no great intelligence lurking here. Here's an orang's method of opening a termite nest. Yet orphaned orangs showed a clever ability to mimic their human foster parents. Finally, another breakthrough. A stick, a stinging pod, a homemade chopstick. Tool use isn't a human skill, it's a great ape skill. If Chloe's team in the Congo can get close to the gorilla, who knows what they might see? A gorilla was here. A knuckle print.
This is the foot of the silverback. Bayaka are looking for the tracks of the gorillas now. We found the nest and we're looking for today's tracks.
The technical term for what this team is trying to achieve is habituation.
Animals get habituated when they ignore the human presence. When they don't react to human presence, we don't know how much they can ignore it. We are 3 people following them every day, and that cannot totally be ignored.
It's a relentless task.
Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, Independence Day, every day.
When they eventually get close, the last thing they want is to surprise the gorillas. Ngombo recognizes an adult gorilla calling to a youngster. It's a tense moment because gorillas can be dangerous if they're frightened. It's crucial to the process that the gorillas know the people are close by and learn that they're harmless. They deliberately make an unthreatening noise. And the sound of an animal grazing. A silverback. And he didn't run. It's progress. There's a young male too. The Bayaka don't want clumsy Westerners destroying months of hard graft.
They want to leave us here. This is not normally what happens.
Why do they want to leave us here?
Because you make too much noise and you're slow.
The team is determined to carry on this desperately slow process for as long as it takes. While Chloe is trying to get to know her gorillas, on the other side of the world, in Brazil, primates have smashed down another assumption of our uniqueness. This time, it wasn't even a great ape. This place is called Green Wing Valley. And here, scientists stumbled on something that looks like a Stone Age workshop. With tools that are obviously still in use. This lowly black-capped capuchin monkey is the only primate here, and it's frustrated. These pods contain palm nuts, and it's the best food around. The macaws can break them open with their beaks. The monkeys can't. The capuchins pick the pods anyway. It's the start of an amazing process. They tap them to see how ripe they are. This one is in the right stage. A bite to the top, and the capuchin can drink the liquid inside. But they seem to give up on getting the nut out. In fact, they're giving the pods a few days to dry out. One day, experts saw capuchins carry the dry pods to the strange rocks. They placed them carefully and prepared for an Olympian task. Then, they did something no monkey was thought capable of doing. These rocks can weigh as much as a capuchin itself. They've been carried from the river, from over a mile away. If a primitive monkey can come up with such a complex kind of tool use, then it's impossible to guess what other surprises the jungle is going to throw up. There's another surprise here too. It looks like the capuchins aren't born with this skill. The young probably learn it from their parents. This way of passing on skills is yet another body blow to the idea that humans are separate from other creatures, because this is the first step in developing culture. Chimps have taken things much further. Some groups open nuts using stones, but for exactly the same job, another uses wooden clubs. Locally different ways of doing the same thing. This is culture, and a window on the origins of our own complex world. It's possible that the great complexity of human culture had its beginnings in scenes like this, tool-using skills passed from adult to young. Back in the Congo, the tracking continues. When they stop for a rest, Chloe learns about the Bayaka culture.
A petit Fanny?
Sharpened teeth are the equivalent of body piercing or tattoos in our own culture.
À sauter devant. Okay, that's how you do it. You put the wood, the stick in the mouth of the person. And you have to hold the head. Donc, soit que keke, soit que zembe. It's okay. One is the knife, and the other is another piece of metal. It can be another knife. A file. And then you just scalp on one side and the other. Petit fanalo, tu un petit mot? The reason why they cut their teeth up until today is because it's something that their great-grandfather were doing, and the Bayaka have always done it. And they're Bayaka, and they're always going to do things that the Bayaka have always done.
One Bayaka tradition that Chloe hopes to change is their mistrust of gorillas. If the team can get gorillas used to people, then tourists will come. There will be jobs for local people, and a good reason to conserve the gorillas.
It is in this part of the forest that it's more open, that the traces become more difficult to find, because there are not many leaves on the ground that the gorilla can step and leave a sign. Whereas the Bayaka, they have a knowledge of the forest, of how it should be, where it is not perturbed, where no animal has gone by. And so like when they walk in the forest, they can see when leaves have been turned, or a shrub has been banked. When an animal passes by, the herb will turn and will show this side here. And they can see that an animal has passed by, and they can also detect which direction. So, of course, we could see little things like this too with a lot of experience, but first we wouldn't be able to know to keep up with them. We would spot one and that's it. They can't even explain how they find the gorillas, the animals in the forest. They just know it. They look for them and find them.
For the moment, the gorillas keep running away, and the Bayaka keep following. There are signs that other animals pass this way.
Big elephant tick.
It's a tick from a forest elephant.
Quite full.
Full of blood.
Lomba, ulo qui. Fallo a. He thinks he's very tired. He thinks that he's very full. Now he's gonna rest.
Chloe, Ngombo and Mbanda have caught the odd sighting of gorillas, but they're about to see a lot more.
When the vegetation is dense, we don't sneak behind them. We try to always see them, and so that they also can see us. We don't like to get too close in dense vegetation.
Fruit is showering down to the forest floor. Mustached monkeys are clumsy eaters. Red River hogs have come to gorge on the windfall. And so have the gorillas. Perhaps the noise or smell of the pigs is masking the presence of humans. The river hogs are stealing all the fruit. The young male wants to show who's boss. The hogs just ignore him. The silverback is a different matter.
Jimbalimba went barking towards the pigs, but you could see that the pigs weren't very intimidated by the little gorilla. And then Mlima charged a little bit and barked to the pigs too. And then they left. I don't think they saw us.
With the confidence of youth, the young gorilla moves closer to the people. He's intrigued. The silverbacks noticed what's going on. And he doesn't like it. He's made his point, without trying to harm anyone.
I think it was a warning to both us and his son to stop what was happening in that very close interaction. He just had to tell his, how do you say, reprimand us from that.
There's a long way to go before Chloe and the gorillas can sit close by in a spirit of mutual trust. Experts aren't just learning things about our jungle past from other primates. In true Indiana Jones style, archaeologists are heading into the jungle, and they're hunting for signs of humans. Not jungle tribes, but lost civilizations. They believe that unlocking the jungle's secrets may help us discover something about our future.
This part of the facade looks about the same. It hasn't changed
Rennie
much.
Munoz and Charles Golden are archaeologists.
So it doesn't look like there's as much of the
An old
food
photograph
factory
taken
coming out of
somewhere
the
here
road.
in Guatemala, Central America, has fallen into their hands.
It's really a tremendous thing to find a building like this, and to find when sort of this area and this isolated and still intact is just a wonderful thing.
They want to track down the building and learn what happened to the people who lived there. For years, civil war kept archaeologists away from this area.
Looks like you have two figures surrounded by a ring of...
This ancient symbol may be telling them something, but what?
Yeah, it does look like there's a throne there or a cushion of some sort.
Ahí más adelante y arriba. Bueno, vámonos.
The jungle is so dense, so wild, it seems impossible that there could have been buildings here, let alone a civilization. Even the plants are inhospitable.
The scopopalm will go right through your hand like a hypodermic needle, puncture the joint and give you a nasty infection, so you definitely don't want to touch this.
See the soil turtles?
Is this a doorway here?
I think so. We must be getting close.
This may be dense jungle, but there are signs of ancient people everywhere.
It's fantastic.
It is an amazing thing.
Whoever built this worshipped some kind of god or spirit. It may be more than 1,000 years old. Finally, they find the mysterious building. A reception hall for some kind of noble 1,000 years ago.
And this whole area would have been plastered. The floors would have been brilliant white, probably. The outside of the building would have been also plastered, maybe painted red.
Rene's found other evidence.
Within this plaza, there's 6 or 7 other structures similar to this one, and then raised up above the remaining 4 or 5 structures. It would have been very impressive.
These people were way ahead of Europe at the time.
Europe was in the middle of the Dark Ages. The Roman Empire had fallen. There was no really great civilization. People still thought that the sun circled the earth.
This place is one more bit of evidence that hundreds or even thousands of square miles of what is now forest was once cleared to feed a great population. This is a fragment of the Maya civilization. 100 miles away, Tikal was one of its great cities, home to more than 50,000 people. As the Maya people climbed these steps, the edge of the forest was far out of sight. So where did the people go? Why did the jungle return? How could such a resourceful people allow the jungle to reclaim their civilization and destroy their lives? A vital clue has been found across the globe in another jungle in Southeast Asia. Here in Cambodia, a tantalising legend haunted explorers for years. It was said that a warrior king out on a hunting trip in the forest found something no one knew was there. The ruins of a glorious city. Its existence wasn't proven to Western science until the 1800s. It's the civilization of Angkor. Today, archaeologist Charles Hyam is trying to unravel why this place, like the Mayan great cities, became a ghost town. What huge catastrophe befell the people living here? Is there a warning to us in what they left behind?
Well, this view from on top of the Bakang Hill gives you the best possible image of what Angkor must once have been like, because you can see all the main features of this great complex. Over on the right-hand side there, you can make out the water of the Western Barai, or reservoir, which would once have arrested and controlled the water coming down from the hills behind me. And over there, through the trees, we can just see the 5 sandstone towers of Angkor Wat. What we don't know is what happened to all the people. The answer, I think, lies out there in the jungle, because what we've got to find is where people were living, how many of them were there, and what they were doing.
Charles heads deep into the forest for clues.
Even here, 30 kilometers from the walled city, it's still possible to come across signs that people once lived here. And this is exactly the sort of thing we're looking for, cut sandstone. And then a second and a third, the whole thing is emerging, as it were, out of the jungle. It's fantastic. You can see here a human form, a set of shoulders, a body. Perhaps somewhere buried deep here, there's the head to go with it. Over there, the beginnings of a wall. The more we track through these trackless jungles, the more of these really quite remarkable sites we're beginning to find.
These extraordinary people even paved the river. Charles and others believe the sheer size of this place may have been the key to its collapse. But no one knew just how big it was until space-age technology offered a new perspective.
0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Infrared imaging technology can cut straight through the jungle canopy, revealing the city in all its glory. The results excelled even Charles's expectations. At 1,000 square kilometres, Angkor was bigger than modern New York, the largest pre-industrial urban area the world has ever known. Once experts had discovered the scale of this place, the reason for its collapse was staring them in the face.
Only now are we beginning to realize the extraordinary extent of Angkor, how the population spread way beyond the city walls.
The city's growth became unstoppable, and its people would have constantly cut back the jungle to create more land for agriculture. No one would have known that this clearance couldn't go on forever, that eventually disaster would strike this magnificent civilization. 1 million people were on the brink. We can guess how tragedy began to strike, because we are still repeating the story today. Rainforest controls the climate for many miles around. When the trees are gone, burning sun scorches bare earth and the temperature rises. Terrible drought and fire follows. The jungle's a vast sponge that soaks up masses of water. With no sponge, rains become floods, which destroy everything in their path. Both Angkor and the Maya civilization of Central America grew until they wrecked their own environments.
There was a population growth, and people began to cut down more trees, and sedimentation began. The great canals, the rivers began to choke and silt up.
The civilizations descended into war and bloodshed.
There was fighting over resources. There was internal divisions and conflict. The whole social fabric began to disintegrate. And before long, this huge city was abandoned and the jungle began to reclaim its own.
So in this story, for once, the jungle won and the humans lost. For all their searching, scientists have not discovered another creature capable of destroying its own environment the way we humans can. But are we also unique in our readiness to start wars and destroy our own kind? To find an answer to these dark questions, scientists have gone back to our closest relative, the chimpanzee. In the forests of Uganda in Africa, primatologist David Watts is looking for the origins of politics and warfare in chimps. He's watched them for 12 years.
Many people tend to make a distinction between humans and animals, but they forget that humans are animals. They could potentially tell us a lot about human history and help us better to understand ourselves now.
We didn't evolve directly from chimps, but our own ancestors were similar. David follows the chimps every day for weeks on end, and often he'll see them prepare to hunt colobus monkeys. It's a chilling and all too human display of organised aggression. David has watched more than 100 hunts, but he doesn't see it as a mindless mass attack. The chimps don't actually need the meat. This whole thing is about politics.
They're all collaborating in this. And male chimpanzees especially are very given to that kind of collaboration.
Chimp societies are built around friendships and alliances. Hunts are about strengthening these bonds. David's seen that the meat is shared with allies and kept from enemies. It's a gruesome form of politics. Many people have seen chimps hunt, but David has seen them go one step further. He's seen that we are not the only species that will go out looking for our own kind with the intention of murder. One day, David was following a group of male chimps. It appeared to be the usual story: preparation for a colobus hunt. But this was no normal hunting party. These chimps were like a group of soldiers on patrol, looking for their own kind.
At first, I didn't know that it was an adult male chimp who was up a fairly small tree, and many Ngogo males surrounding this tree on the ground, screaming and just incredible commotion. Then several Ngogo males started to climb up this tree. The male who was up there tried to climb from there into an adjacent tree, but the tree it was in was now just too small to bear the weight of about 4 adult male chimps. And the top broke and he crashed to the ground, at which he tried to run off, but all the others ran off after him. And by the time we got to where they had stopped, they had caught him. He had up to 15, 20 other chimps piling on top of him.
Did we inherit the ability to murder from our distant ancestors and take it with us when we built our civilizations? Is this the jungle's darkest secret? It turns out there is a ray of light here. It took great skills of politics and cooperation to coordinate such a hunt. These same skills have been developed further by us. Trade, politics, society. They are the building blocks of our great civilizations. David believes that there is one fundamental way that humans are quite unique.
I don't think that they have anything like the ethical systems that humans do, or can understand the consequences of what they're doing in the way that humans ought to be able to understand the consequences.
If humans understand consequences, they can, of course, free themselves from the laws of the jungle and choose what they do. Perhaps Chloe's task of trying to get close to gorillas embodies that moral uniqueness. We are the only species that can work to preserve another species.
Here is just right now.
It's taken Chloe and the Bayaka 6 long years just to get the lowland gorillas to accept them.
He went back to sleep. Right behind him.
They say a true sign of friendship is falling asleep in company.
They had just a very bad night because it's been raining all night. And so they found a new place a bit on the sun and they're taking a rest. The juvenile is still sleeping, but the males just walked off, eating behind there. It takes a lot of trust for them to be sleeping so close to us. He's sleeping in full visibility. We are within 10 meters. And for him to just decide to sleep in that spot, we didn't find him there. He came and chose that place and lie down and closed his eyes after looking at us. So, yeah.
We've come a long way since these gorillas were seen as terrifying monsters. The silverback is getting at termites by shaking chunks of their nest into his hand. It's not quite tool use, but it gets the job done.
He's just playing, it's just spitting a little bit.
His son hasn't quite got the hang of it. He tries another tactic. This close-up view is a jungle first. It's in these kind of intimate moments that we've learned so much about ourselves from our relatives. Chloe and her skilled Bayaka trackers have finally opened a brand new door. It's taken extraordinary commitment.
They've had some of us following them every day for 6 years of their life. Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, Independence Day, every day. To be able to contact them regularly, the Bayaka were fundamental in this process. It's only thanks to their skills in finding them every day that we succeeded in habituating them.
It's been well worth the effort to turn ancient enemies into new friends.
But I think we have taught them, to the Bayaka, also something, because they never thought that there could be this kind of relationship with the animals of the forest.
Exploring the jungle can give us an insight into how we became the extraordinary species that we are. And it's shown that we are unique, just not in the way we thought. Only we can reach out to conserve another species, like Chloe has.